There's a new Walking Dead show out. I don't know if you know this, but The Walking Dead, Dead City, one of those many spin offs that we were told would happen, has officially launched. Negan and Maggie are on their journey, they're on their quest, and if you haven't finished season 11 of Walking Dead, if you don't know how that ends, surprise, Negan and Maggie survive. Of course, they announced these shows before the end of the series, so it was kind of like you knew that Negan and Maggie and Daryl and all of them were going to survive. So, anyway, this is me talking about the pilot, season 1, episode 1. I'm a big Walking Dead fan, all the way back. This is season 1. I mean, I used to watch the series live. I watched Talking Dead. I probably could have done that Supervan thing that they were always doing on Talking Dead to try to get somebody to be somewhere or come out to the finale or whatever it was and ask a question, whatever the award was for their super fan of the season. I feel like I could have qualified for that. I just didn't own enough physical shit that I felt like I would win that. I don't have like a Walking Dead room full of shirts, you know, but I do love the series. And Negan and Maggie are in the show. I should point out really quickly, we're going to jump into this because I do have to tackle this, that I'm a blind film critic. So I'm blind and I watch The Walking Dead. And you're like, how is that possible? It's really not. It's actually not possible. But I was not blind when The Walking Dead started, and I lost my vision around the time that Rick left the show, actually. That's about where I would say it's about that time. So if you're wanting to look for a reference of how far I made it into the show, there are certain characters I've never seen, and it was really hard for me to watch the show that I loved so much and had loved for so many years, and I still consider it to be my favorite show of all time. And to know that it doesn't love me back, to know that this show has no accessibility, doesn't matter where it goes, to AMC Plus, to Netflix, live airings. There's no audio description for this show, and there's no audio description for Dead City. I watched this on AMC Plus, where they fully are capable of putting audio description on the show. They just choose not to. They make this conscious decision all the time. I had to sit through The Walking Dead, and when you think about where I just told you where I lost my vision, you realize that I never got to enjoy Connie's performance. The entire time Lauren Ridloff was on the show playing Connie, her entire performance was like, I read through recaps. My friends told me things about her that were going on. I picked up from character reactions of her character, but she's a non-verbal deaf character. I have nothing on her. And she was in quite a bit of the show all the way up until the end. So, yeah. So the show considers itself to be very inclusive because they hired Lauren Ridloff. They're not so much. They're really not inclusive. But I did try to watch Dead City because, damn it, I just love this. I just love it too much. And it was a little hard to watch this because, once again, we were introduced to a nonverbal character that I didn't even know was there until Negan mentions that he's traveling with this nonverbal girl and tells her story of like how he found her, and why she is, and what they need to do. Basically, the setup of this is that this takes place some years after the end of the series. Maggie lives off on her own. I really don't know why she doesn't talk to anybody, but we haven't really talked about that. She just kind of lives off on her own. It's weird because Negan directly mentions Hilltop, and again, I feel like there are other people Maggie knows. I don't know why she feels like she needs to track Negan down. there are questions that weren't answered here for me in the pilot as to why this is a Maggie and Negan thing, but why she felt like there was no one else. You know, it's like that in Gladiator. It's like, no one else. But she tracked down Negan for this, and it's supposedly because she heard his whistle. And she found out that the guy that raided her cabin and kidnapped Herschel was a former savior. And of course, it's a savior that I'm sure they created just for the show, because I don't remember Zelko Ivanek ever being on the actual show. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's been around forever. You'd think I would learn it by now. He's a character actor. He's, from what I could see, he's one of those people that I know that you go, oh, that guy. You know? Like, he's one of those people you instantly recognize because he's been in so many things. I don't know how else to say that, but and his name is so unique that, yeah. But he was a former savior, and he now runs his own crew, and he has taken up his criminal residence somewhere in New York City. So Maggie needs Negan to go in and try to, I don't know, use his savior expertise to reason with this guy and to let Herschel go, or to rescue Herschel, or whatever ends up needing to happen is what's going to happen here. It's very interesting. We're living in this new world that is not really any better than where we left it. Instantly, I mean, there are these sheriffs. I don't know, they're not called sheriffs, but they're called something else. I've already forgotten because I didn't care. But there's some cops, marshals or something, looking for Negan. He's a wanted man because supposedly he killed some of them, even though he hints at, but without telling the story, that story is bullshit. And Negan usually owns his shit, so I'm sure that's at least partially true. I'm sure there's obviously more to that story. So he's wanted, and the way that this guy who's like a cop describes what they're going to do to Negan, I'm like, well, we didn't really make this world any better, did we? They're going to hang him upside down, and they're going to cut him down the middle. You know, from dick to head till he dies, I guess, split him down the middle slowly. That's capital punishment in this Walking Dead era. I'm just like, Jesus. That makes really, I mean, when I think about that, I'm like, Alpha she just decapitated some people. And we thought that was bad. Shit. She put some head on some bikes, and I mean, we thought Negan bashed in a head, and we were like, oh, these guys are supposed to be law enforcement officers. This is how we kill people now. Okay. We are in a very different world. So Maggie rescues Negan from a situation I'm not really sure he needed to be rescued from, but would have eventually, because the marshals show up at the place he used to be, and the people who were still there were, let's just say, charged with harboring a fugitive, and we won't be seeing them again anytime soon. That's what I picked up on. I can't really tell you what happened because, again, I'm blind, but I did pick up on the idea that we will not be seeing them in future episodes. So, yeah, so Maggie and Negan go to this place so they can drop off this girl that's been traveling with Negan that hasn't been speaking, I didn't even know existed. And they drop her off to these people who don't really even speak, and I don't know who they are, and I the whole thing was just weird. Apparently there was a scene, because when you watch this on AMC Plus, there's like a little bit of a talk back thing with the producers. There's a scene where like Negan ate a cockroach or something like that was supposedly really gross, and they were joking about how it was real. Obviously it wasn't, but they were joking about how Jeffrey Dean Morgan wanted to eat a real cockroach. Anyway, Um, uh, they go off to New York after that, and of course they're sort of being trailed by this marshal who has this weird justice system, and they run into it like a junior marshal, and he's just like a young kid, so they're not kid, but I don't know, 18 to 21. So they're easily able to capture him. Negan wants to throw him into a river, and Maggie's like, no, we might need him. Like, for what? Because we need to expand the cast? Like, is that it? Does he need to die in a future scene? I don't know. So they take this other character with them, and head into Dead City, and of course the marshal seems to figure out where they're headed, because he's I always find it hilarious that like they've got the whole world to go, and this dude manages to figure out that Maggie's headed to New York to rescue her son Herschel. Just, I don't know. I don't really understand that. Maybe if I had audio description, they'd be able to explain to me how this guy, used his special magical abilities to be able to figure out how that was happening. But this marshal is in like a completely different place. Then all of a sudden he's like, I'm here. I just want to talk. They're having a conversation, and of course, Maggie needs Negan. So, and we do get a little bit of a glimpse of this former savior. Of course, we don't know how bad anything is going to be. I don't know how bad anything is going to be because I can't see any of the graphic images. So, or any of the gore, any of the zombie attacks. I don't get any of that. Thanks to Walking Dead and I don't know who produces this show. Gail Hurd and I don't know. I don't even know who produces Dead City of the group. Gimple, are you behind this? Who's responsible for Dead City? Yeah, please add audio description. Please, actually, there are people out there that would love to watch this show that are blind, but it's really hard. It's challenging. If it wasn't for the fact that I'd watched so much of the show and knew these characters, like Negan and Maggie are two characters that I'd followed their journey for a while prior to losing my vision, so it was easy for me to pick up these two characters. But there are totally characters that, like, I never saw Alpha, I never saw Beta. Yes, I know what Samantha Morton and Ryan Hurst look like as actors, but I never got to see them as Whispers. So, and character deaths. I wasn't really there for Carl's death. It's among others. So, as far as Dead City goes, I think it makes good in its premise of what it is. It's a Maggie and Negan show. They don't seem to like each other, and they found at least one connective tissue by having this random savior be the villain of the show as to why Maggie needed Negan. I don't know that it's the best answer for why she didn't seek help from anyone else, but I wanted her to be like, and you know why I don't speak to the others, because they, this is why, because it's some time has passed. Herschel's much older. We see Herschel for like 5 seconds, and all I can tell you is, based on how Herschel now has like a deep voice, and is not like a kid like he was, he's grown up a little bit, and it's kind of hard for me to think that like any beef that she would have had, that she wouldn't have been able to bury with some of those characters that she knew for so long. Anyway, so there's some time has passed. I think people would have forgiven Maggie. They always forgive Maggie. So, and Hilltop apparently is a thing still. So, in this reality, go back, find these people, find your friends, have them help you, relaunch The Walking Dead. I guess I have to grade this. It's really hard for me to grade this because technically it's unwatchable. So for my blind community, I'm going to say it's unwatchable. For my Walking Dead community, I love the flagship series. I watched the whole thing. I did not get turned away simply because Glenn died. I'm not one of those people. I actually liked Fear the Walking Dead a little bit in the beginning, then it kind of got shitty, and then they added Morgan, and I was like, oh, Morgan! And then it kind of got worse. So I stopped watching. I didn't make it to the end of Fear the Walking Dead. But yeah, for a while there, it was really good. They were adding flagship series characters, and it was nice. I hated the World's End, or the one with the kids. I thought that was terrible. I felt like the CW version of The Walking Dead. And Tales of the Walking Dead was hit or miss, because it's episodic, so just depended. Like, some of the episodes were fine, some of them were whatever. So all of that, I'm gonna give Dead City's series premiere a B+. Does that feel good? So anyway, that's from a Walking Dead fan. So no mention of Lucille. No mention of Lucille. There is a name drop of Annie. Annie was name dropped in the beginning. So that's it. That's all I got. So I will probably continue to review the series because I was really looking forward to it. So you might see more from me. And we'll talk more about what it's like for a blind person to watch The Walking Dead. And maybe I'll get some accessibility out there. Maybe AMC Plus will actually listen to me and start audio describing this series. It's always good to start from the beginning, because then you can hook new fans in. If you wait and you start describing season 3, then you're assuming that we're going to watch 1 and 2 without audio description, and sometimes that's a pretty big ask. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can go to Twitter, Instagram, and follow me at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what is audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it from me. I will see you guys on the other side.